Hey guys, Budcat7 here. Okay, it is Wednesday, September 26, 2018, and I want to thank you for visiting the Stonewall Research channel. Again, please go through my videos. If you're a new subscriber, even if you're a current subscriber, maybe you haven't seen all my videos. Just recently, one of the subscribers commented they live up there in Connecticut in Fairfield County, and they found some sort of turtle effigy in the woods over there. And I strongly encourage people from these areas in the Northeast to go out there. If you have stone walls in your area, certainly armed with a new eye for it, by looking at my channel and other alternative researchers channels, you can go out there and look for stuff that normally you wouldn't go out there and see if you were looking at the stone walls. Anyway, this commenter said they found this effigy, and it's very interesting. Most of the turtle effigies, most of the turtle effigies that you'll find are box turtles. Even some of the larger type constructions that you'll see in New England and New York State of turtles are often box turtles. But if you go into my video series at Mallory, you're going to see something that's very unique and very different than all of those effigies, and that is that megalithic-sized sea turtle effigy that you'll see in one of my videos. I think that's the only sea turtle effigy that I've ever seen in any sort of pictures or descriptions or anything like that. Made with megalithic sized stones, and it's obviously got flippers and not this box turtle like or whatever. It's very interesting, this sea turtle effigy. So please do go into my Mallory playlist or through my videos, and you'll see that sea turtle effigy. It's like a perfect effigy. They picked just a perfect stone for the head. It's got an eye that may be carved into it, I don't know, but the bottom, the face of it is white like a sea turtle. The underneath of the sea turtle has that white. So it's a very, very cool effigy, and I think the only one that I know of in the Northeast United States. So please do look at that. That's my own discovery there at Mallory. So you can only see it here on my channel. So anyway, I'm at the library today. It's my day off. It's not such a great day, but it's getting nicer, maybe, I hope. Just miserable these last, actually the whole summer was pretty miserable. But anyway, I'm getting into this book here. It's called The First Americans, The Story of North American Archaeology by this fellow C.W. Ceram. That's actually his pen name. And that's because this guy is a writer. He's not an archaeologist. He's not an anthropologist. He's not in league with any sort of universities or anything. He's an independent writer. And what's great about this book is that he's writing about sort of unfairly treated books and stories and different things that are not counted by, mainstream universities, academics. They're sort of discounted by them because they're not official for whatever reasons. They don't fit into certain categories of official academic research, etc., etc. So that's what's great about this book. This guy is not afraid to say anything about anything. So anyway, I just want to tell you about a couple of things I found in this book. I'm up to like the 5th chapter now, and as I go through the book, I'll be looking for certain things. And just right off the bat, the preface of this book. Now, I studied the mounds in North America, the mound builders, and, the people associated with that, the skeletons that they found in these mounds, etc., etc. But one little fact I didn't know is from the prelude to this book, and it's called The President and the Mounds. And it has to do with Thomas Jefferson. I took this little piece out of the book here, okay? It's just this is a painting from 1858 that sort of stylizes and the mounds to show like a battle going on it or whatever. It says right here, Thomas Jefferson, 1743 to 1826, a portrait by Rembrandt Peale, 1803. Jefferson's investigation of a mound in Virginia ushered in scientific excavation in North America. This lively, imaginative drawing of different ancient battle mound dates from 1858, by which time many of the mounds were overgrown or eroded. That's very curious to me, that the mounds were overgrown or eroded. Were they overgrown and eroded at Jefferson's time? In Jefferson's time? Who knows? But in any case, I just found that very interesting. And I find it very interesting that Jefferson wrote this book about excavating a mound nearby where he lived in between his political life. He took like a break, and when he was taking that break, he decided that he was going to excavate this mound, and he wrote a book about it, and it's a very meticulous study of it. He took great care while he was excavating the mound in the most scientific method that he possibly could. So it's very interesting. I didn't know this. I've seen a lot of stuff on the mounds. I've read a lot of stuff about the mounds. I've never heard any mention of Thomas Jefferson being the first one to excavate a mound in the United States. So just a very interesting little factoid right off the bat that I've never heard anywhere else. Okay? And the second thing, I mean, when I come across things of interest in this book, obviously I'm going to try to report on them and everything. The second chapter of this is the 7 cities of Cibola. And it talks about, the Spanish conquistadors, more or less invasion of Central America. And, this guy spares them no amount of criticism because, it talks about their brutality, their absolute disgusting, savage brutality. I think the Spanish government, first of all, the Spanish government has gone through great pains to sort of sanitize the conquistadors, which shouldn't surprise any of us, and make them, squeaky clean and all this kind of stuff. But one of their contemporaries, this Cabeza de Vaca, who was with the explorers and actually was the first person, along with some companions, to explore the American South and the American Southwest. He was absolutely the first one to go into these areas and report on what he saw over there. And he was a staunch critic of the conquistadors and reported of all kinds of horrible, horrible things. He didn't like them very much. And he decided to call them on all their stuff. Of course, the Spanish government, tries to marginalize this guy and, tries to make him seem like, he's some kind of stupid person and all his reports are fake and all this kind of stuff. So, I'm strongly suspect of that. He probably was giving accurate details. But he was on a ship, one of the first ships to explore this region of the United States, the south part of the United States, and then into the Southwest. And they were shipwrecked, and the ship was wrecked, and there was only 4 survivors, and Cabeza de Vaca was one of the survivors. So I just want to read this to you, this little snippet over here. The first Indians he had encountered on a Florida expedition were dangerous warriors, tall, strong, agile, and armed with enormous bows. He reports that one of their arrows penetrated 9 inches into a trunk of a tree near him. But then he met tribes of small stature possessing only primitive weapons, actually Stone Age men. What astonished him most was the multiplicity of their languages. Tribes that lived close together could communicate with one another only by sign language, but in his truthful fashion, he remarks concerning these people, if they were not large, our fears made giants of them, exclamation point, end of quote. So here's Ceram, talking about the truthfulness of Cabeza de Vaca, who the Spanish government puts down as some sort of crank or whatever it is, because he was very critical of the conquistadors. I think the Spanish government more or less records that the conquistadors, in a short period of time, killed something like 15 million to 19 million Central Native American Indians and of the Aztecs and whatnot. And it's just absolute, complete savagery and barbarity. It's hard to read even the accounts by De Vaca or whatever, but here's this interesting snippet where he came across these very tall Indians that almost seemed like giants to him, and one of those, shot an arrow at him and it went 9 inches into a tree. Okay, you could imagine the power and the force of such a weapon. And, you know, he said they had extremely large bows. How large could it be? It's probably very large to put that kind of arrow 9 inches into a tree. Try with your standard bow and arrow set, even if you got some real hunting arrows or whatever. Try to put that 9 inches into a tree. I bet you can't. So anyway, I just found this very interesting account. Again, another account by some of the first people to actually come into contact with Native Americans in the United States, reporting that they're extremely tall and that, you know, they had these large weapons. You know, as I gave you in the report, in my videos prove it. You know, William A. Ritchie there saying that, you know, these large weapons and things and, you know, large 14-inch cones were thrown into the graves, just sort of votive offerings, you know, just sort of exaggerated items, you know, to put in there. Baloney. If Mr. Ritchie was still alive, I would tell him, baloney, Mr. Ritchie. So here we have accounts, again, of large Native American Indians, and also in tandem with small Native Americans. And I guess this is why they have to say that, you know, peoples of different physical stature came through the Bering Strait, you know, because they can't explain this stuff. But, you know, again, I tell you that, you know, the Native Americans across the United States from coast to coast have this haplogroup X in there. And Dr. Kenneth Vader the other night on Coast to Coast said about, you know, oh, it's mystery DNA or whatever. It's not a mystery. They know exactly where haplogroup X comes from, and you can see that in my video about the Windover Bog people. They know exactly where haplogroup X comes from. It comes from Europe, okay? And it's just a mystery. It's a mystery how they got it. Not that it's mystery DNA, it's a mystery where they got it from. That's where the mystery is. But in any case, guys, I just wanted to tell you about this. Of course, I'm going to get more into this book, but it's a great book. I highly recommend it if you can find it. And like I said, it's sort of offbeat stories about people, you know, giving accounts of archaeology and anthropology that you're not going to find anywhere in your mainstream academic histories and scientific reports, because they're not counting these people because they don't have the sheepskins, the baloney skins. Hey, I got my sheepskin too. I could basically use it for toilet paper, but, you know, I was a very good student. I was an honors list and dean's list student. My IQ was like 138, so trust me, none of their stuff gets past me, my friends. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to give you these little snippets out of this book. Again, just another report of extremely large Native Americans with extremely large weapons. You know, these were not votives, as Devaka reports. You know, these were people, actual people with giant weapons, you know, shooting arrows at them. Lucky they survived. So, any case, guys, just wanted to get this out into the world here, because you ain't getting it from mainstream academia, that's for sure. Anyway, guys, Bugcat7 signing out. I'll see you at the next video. Thanks very much for joining me. Bye now.